Welcome, everyone. This is Pine Grove News Live. And let's go check, see if we are live. And we are. We are. Pine Grove News Live. Okay, everyone. Welcome. It's Monday, unfortunately. Still up and kicking, though. So I hope everyone's doing okay. 6 o'clock on the dot here on the East Coast. Let's get our Fair Use Act up there. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, let's go put this up there. So, what's going on? What's happening? Well, I can tell you what's happening here in southern New England anyway, as far as weather-wise. I mean, it was like spring today. It's still 56 degrees and the sun's down, so they're saying the high today was going to be a 60, but I believe it might have been that, or if not, a little warmer. And 52 tomorrow. I guess I don't know what it's going to be after that. Nobody knows, do they? Do they really? With all the geoengineering and all the weather modification, they should know, but that's why the weather people don't know. This is crazy stuff out there. So, well, on my notes, I guess somebody told me the correct population number, okay? I keep saying 6.5 billion, but apparently we're up to 7.8 billion. According to a YouTuber called Think About It. And we might get a little clip from him tonight. Stock market. Yeah. It's not like we haven't heard it before, but stock market down over 1,000 points. Actually, it was 1,031.33, and that might have changed and went up to 6.64, something like that. As of 4:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, they're saying with news of the coronavirus, but it's not any more news than we haven't heard already. So I don't know what kind of news they have. But let's go to the latest updates from this coronavirus. Okay, so you all can see that we're 79,553 total confirmed. That's confirmed. That's not including the ones that are being quarantined in places and cities that are being locked down. This is just confirmed. And everyone thinks that it's much, much higher, that China's holding back somehow. Total deaths so far, 2,628, with that total recovered rising to 25,215. And apparently there are people who have tested positive, recovered, and then tested positive again. And I guess Chinese are saying now 21 days is the figure right now for incubation. So they can lock you in a hole for 30 days. Yeah. Just to see if you have. So if you have the flu, you're in trouble. Because that is the symptoms. I don't know anything else besides, I do know what the symptoms are. It's the same as the flu. You get fever, body aches, other stuff like that. I just went through a bronchitis infection, and that's what my symptoms were. I believe I had a fever the first 2 days, body aches. It did actually feel like the flu. So this is the season, man. And I got to make one correction. I had spoke on Friday, I guess, and said something like 449 people in Connecticut actually died from the flu. Yeah, I was about 100 times off. I just had a feeling, but I went with the figure anyway, and I never should have. But it was only 49. Only. Right. So 49 people in Connecticut this year so far have died from the flu. And just remember something about this coronavirus, okay? Most of the people who get infected are like in their 60s on up. Somebody had mentioned that it may have been, the young as well, but right now it is mostly those people, the elderly people, which just makes me think, this makes me think some crazy thoughts, and it may not be too crazy, like, is this, some kind of engineered coronavirus, which is now what, COVID-19 or vid-19, something like that, another name for it. I mean, heck, if it's only killing, the elderly, the ones who are non-productive, the ones that the government has to pay Social Security to, that's all right, right? Yeah, it's not right at all. But I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past Lucifer at all. That's what he wants to do. He just wants to kill everybody. And with the elites in line with them, the powers that be, this spiritual battle that we have, yeah, I can believe that they would engineer some virus to just target the elderly because they don't want to pay them anymore. It's just getting to be more like, I'm sure you have seen Soylent Green, right? And the main picture of that was, well, besides the fact that Soylent Green is apparently some food that people were being fed because there was a problem feeding people. And so it ended up being, the Soylent Green was actually people, but the whole thing of the story was that they take these elderly people, and some of them, seemed to be quite lively, like the father of the actor, and I forget his name right now. But I mean, he looked like he had plenty of time. He had a lot of time left to enjoy his life, his golden years. But he felt, that he was a burden was put on his son because of him. So he opted to opt out. He went into a room, filled with, monitors all around. And he was able to pick whatever he wanted to pick. Then he picked like a open field, flowers, and the wind blowing the straw back and forth, and he just was given, I forget what he was given. It had to have been something chemical, something injected into him, or a pill that he took. That is what we're working up to in many cases, this euthanasia type thing, this doctor-assisted suicide type thing. It's out there, and it's probably coming to a state near you. It's already in the United States, at least two of them. They've been here once, and they said that they'd be coming back. But anyways, so this was just going to show you some progression. This is at 3:50 p.m. on the 21st. It is the 24th today. This was 3 days ago. This was Friday. I did not get any readings from Saturday. I was so busy. I remembered about 11:30 at night, and just didn't have the energy to go do it. Apparently, that's when these figures jumped. But so, anyways, that was Friday, 76.7. And then on Sunday morning, 10:28 a.m., it was 78.8. So jumped like over 2,000. And then, of course, today, 79,553. So I expected it to reach 80,000 by now. So between yesterday and today, it did not go up much. But I mean, you're talking, what, 200, less than 200 people have died. Normally it's double that, In any case, that's the news. That's the updates for that. So let's go, because Italy right now is in a full panic. They have got this article out there from IntelliHub. Grocery store shelves go empty in northern Italy just hours ahead of a martial law lockdown. I'm telling you, people, that's what they want. They want to come up with this universal vaccine. And if you don't take it, they're going to lock you down. There's going to be, they've trained us, right, for the past couple of years. State of emergency here, state of emergency there, you know. That is one step below this martial law lockdown. Look what they're doing in China. They're locking whole cities down, millions of people, supposedly, okay, for flu-like symptoms. This is the season for the flu. So there's going to be a lot of people, you know, testing or at least showing symptoms of flu-like symptoms. In any case, we've talked about what really may be over there. And it's not the coronavirus, at least in China, it's not. But yeah, people are going to exhibit, you know, these flu-like symptoms of fever, you know, body aches, like any other flu. So grocery store shelves go empty. And I guess we have some video, but yeah, well, what do you expect, man? Maybe there was a warning. So these northern Italy, they were ransacked and left bare after residents in over a dozen towns were given news. So they were given news prior to being forced in a lockdown following this new supposed cluster of outbreak of the SARS-CoV-2. So, you know, okay, well, I didn't even read that. I mean, SARS-CoV-2, I mean, that's not the coronavirus, is it? It's just the fear. It's just the fear of the coronavirus that continues to spread. That's why the stock market supposedly plummeted to 1,031 points because of fears. Whatever, man. It's not reality, but in any case, U.S. FEMA camps become active quarantine sites. Remember, we talked about this before when they started opening the military bases, bringing these people off these cruise ships and from China and putting them on military bases. And now we told you this before. They're going to start opening up these FEMA camps, okay, and start using them. We're all going to be put behind these FEMA camps. And other camps expected to serve as quarantine centers in near future. Well, good reason to open them all up, right? Start the influx of people into these re-educational camps. Yeah, from Anniston, Alabama, the U.S. Health Department announced, and I don't have the article, I didn't pick it up, but did you hear that Oregon and Florida are refusing to give any of their coronavirus updates or info data or anything to whoever's asking for it? Yep. Okay. Well, that hasn't happened in a while. So in any case, the statement from the Department of Health and Human Services reads, so anyway, the FEMA Center for Domestic Preparedness in Anniston will be used to house Americans infected with Covid-19. Now, I don't know why they changed the name of it, but they have. And it's been like that for a while. But I'm just calling it the coronavirus. So HHS is taking precautions to protect the health of all Americans from coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19. To that end, HHS and FEMA agreed to use a federal facility, the FEMA Center for Domestic Preparedness in Anniston, Alabama, as a place for some of the American passengers from the Diamond Princess to stay. And you do know, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, that probably happened over the weekend anyway. that these passengers from this cruise ship ended up testing positive after they released them into the public. And supposedly Trump is all upset and angry about this, and why wasn't he informed, and blah, 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 blah. That's what's going on right now. Plenty of headlines out there if you want to go read about that crap. This is very important, though. The use of these so-called FEMA camps, why do they have them in the first place? They have quite a lot of them. And a lot of them, I mean, just look for a Walmart shut-in. I mean, Walmarts are being, turned into, and they have been for a while, into these FEMA camps. You remember when they first started, the Walmart started shutting down somewhere in the middle of the country. People said that, they were closing down. No real warning to the people who are working there, supposedly to replace pipes and plumbing and do some other stuff. Yeah, the other stuff is, adding bars and other restraints and such and so on. And we actually had letters from people who actually on the working crews slip out letters in secret that said this, but whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter, because I do know some of the people that I don't know them personally, but I know their, what I mean, their mentality. Yeah, they just want to enslave everyone else who doesn't have any money, who struggles to make a living only because we're paying it all to them. And so they just want to maintain the slave class, for them. The rich, the privileged. So there you go. Okay, FEMA camps. There's probably one coming to a Walmart near you. World coronavirus updates, video after video of the unthinkable. And so in this article, you will find, let's just read this part. By all calculations, we are currently in a level 6 pandemic worldwide, but the WHO has failed to announce it. Somebody announced it a couple weeks ago, because we've been calling it a pandemic for a while. Maybe the WHO hasn't called it, but somebody did say it was a pandemic. I mean, how could it not be? It's in what, 29 countries right now? Not sure about that figure, but that rings in my head. So in here you will find videos of what's going on in Italy, near Rome, Italy. Level 6 pandemic. Now, somebody go look that up. I don't know what a level 6 pandemic is. Now they have different levels of pandemics. In any case, these are just videos, people walking around in a suit. This one was at the airport in Venice, doing just like they're doing in China in the videos you've seen there. They're checking their temperatures and some other things. We'll just run it for a second. So apparently they can read a temperature. I did notice that in the doctor's office when I went there, when was it, last Tuesday, that every time they take your temperature, it just seems like it can happen immediately. Even if because they put the oral one, and took the temperature that way, but it still only took like 10 seconds. If it was that long. But anyway, you'll find a lot of videos in here. This is obviously an ambulance taking one, apparently struck with the coronavirus. I mean, listen, people, even the flu can kill people. Like I said, Friday, we had a number of 49 people dead in Connecticut from the flu. Flu has killed people every year for quite a while. And don't be fearful of these things. First of all, as a Christian, you shouldn't be fearful of them because of Psalm 91. And there's a lot of people that are repeating that Psalm 91. People will be dying on your left and your right. but nothing will come to you. So this is the guy that I was talking about. Think about it. First time I've heard it, somebody sent it over to me. I'm going to, if I can get this set, let you listen to at least the first 2 minutes, okay? Because it's going to show you, remember we showed you a while ago that thing called the event, I still have it on my PC, Event 201, I believe it was, yeah. Where they were running a simulation. And folks, don't you know by now that anytime they're running a simulation or they're practicing or there's some kind of scenario going on, that it almost always becomes live. Whether it be the same day, well, pretty much a lot of them have been the same day. 9/11 was the same day. Boston Marathon was the same day. There's a couple other ones too, but for I anger people, not that I care whether I anger you or not, I really don't. I'm only speaking the truth, and I'm speaking from my heart, and if you can't take that, well, there's the door. There's a button down there. There's a stop button. So let's listen to about 2 minutes of this.
Maintain calm in the city.
All city hospitals are reporting cases testing positive.
Note the same skin rash, and other symptoms of both these cases are identical.
Data shows the death toll could increase exponentially.
The city must be shut down.
Launch Operation Clean City now. And will be segregated at the camp.
All the infected people, they're being shot and killed.
We simply cannot afford to let this. Is the only chance we have.
I think you could take care of me for a bit.
Over 2,000 people an hour are dying out there.
Mom, why are you here?
We don't belong here!
Come on,
I'm doing this for us all.
You're doing this for yourself!
I've got you. Let's go find your mom.
I left my daughter back there. I'm going to get her back.
Yeah. So listen to this.
Hi, Steve here. This is the perfect example of what's called predictive programming. This was a movie that was released 6 years ago. Now, I really wish I could talk about something else in this video, but there really isn't anything more pressing of an issue than what this world is facing, and most people don't really think it will happen here.
Anyways, I just wanted to let you see that this particular movie made 6 years ago. Remember the 201, Event 201, that was also, it wasn't 6 years ago, that was current. That was 3 months, I think, prior to the actual outbreak, at least the announcement of an outbreak. So, Harvard scientist predicts coronavirus will affect up to 70% of humanity. If this is what they claim it is, and that contagious, I mean, I don't know. How contagious is the flu? Flu isn't that contagious, right? Well, if you add something to it, if you take away from something, if you manipulate it, genetically engineer it, yeah, you can make something pretty contagious. So anyways, 70% of humanity. How much is it going to take to get down to the 500 manageable million people? And the only ones who claim it that there are too many people on this planet are the ones, the elite, who have all the money and food that they could possibly ever have. And you know what? A good point that Will Watchman made today, and we've been talking about this for a while. Why are we importing beef from Canada? Does anybody know that answer? Do we not have our own beef in America? I mean, heck, this is what one of the things the country was founded on, herds, being walked across the country, and a lot of farmland with cows. Yeah. So where'd they all go? Why are we importing from Canada? If anybody knows, please, man, leave a message. Just like, why is China, importing pigs from Brazil? Well, I'll tell you one thing, there's a lot of pigs in China that end up being sick. So whatever they're doing up there, they may be contaminating these pigs. In any case, swine fever, I guess, was the last column, 100,000 pigs, just pushing them into ditches and burying them alive. We're one of the cruelest life. Anyway, yeah, we can be pretty cruel. Yeah, we can. So let's switch gears. Let's see if I got anything else over here on the coronavirus. No. Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but there's a rumor out there. It's just a rumor, and I don't know if I mentioned it before on Friday. I have not been able to find any news on the subject. So I don't know why some people, or at least one person that tells me that he's heard from somebody else, blah, 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 that there are apparently 750,000 troops, not just ours, but a combined total, amassing over in the Middle East. You would think that you would be able to recognize the amount of traffic like that. 750,000, that's 750,000 people, and the logistics, the hardware, the trucks, the vehicles, the planes, the helicopters, all this other stuff that's going to accompany it, cargo, caravans, and all this other stuff. Has everybody just turned a blind eye to it, or are they squashing everything about that? Has anybody heard about anything like that? I have not. Heard somebody else heard it being said from somebody who claims that supposedly some insider in the military. Whatever. I don't believe it. I do believe. Well, this is a headline anyway. Erdogan, leader of Turkey, gives a final warning before launching Gog-Magog war against Edom, Russia. Now, this may be true. Maybe Edom is Russia. I thought this Gog-Magog people from the north included Turkey and Russia, not separately, but anyways, there's conflicts. There's a conflict brewing between Turkey and Russia, and there's been an exchange of gunfire, so to speak. They've been at war with each other a few times in the past. They're saying from the 16th or the 17th century on, they've been at war at least 12 times. And I don't think that has anything to do with the Gog-Magog war. I thought it would be Russia and, Turkey, Persia is Iran. So, I don't know, but this article is saying that, we need to be aware that this could be brewing up this Gog-Magog confrontation. And who knows? Turkey is definitely, in fact, attacking Syria. Russia is trying to protect Syria, or at least they're asked to help them. Israel probably is still attacking Syria, at least Iran-backed components, and warned by Russia. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are still going on there. I don't think we pulled completely out of Syria, but I don't know that much about it. Yeah, just breaking Israel news should get anyone's attention who is familiar with the Bible prophecy and the major end time war that is foretold to happen in the future, found in the book of Ezekiel, chapters 38, 39. So the report is indicating that talks with Russia officials over the intensifying military conflict in Syria have failed, leaving Turkey's president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, to issue his final warnings to Russia. We are making our final warnings. Erdogan went on to say, we did not reach the desired results in our talks with Russia. And so anyway, is this Gog Magog thing, with these two? Is this the start of that prophecy being fulfilled? Well, I'll leave it to you all to discern for yourself, because I am still learning about these things myself. I purposely stayed away from those things from Ezekiel, Daniel, Revelation, but, kind of recent, 3 months ago, I was led to finally, read about those things. And folks, we all have to, parents mainly, you have to be warned about this one. There's another challenge thing that's going on out there called the killer jump trip. Yeah, so parents are warning against this killer jump trip challenge. And this is in the UK. You've heard of other ones from Russia, but this one is new. It's from UK. And you can see what they do. Unsuspecting kids, they get them to jump up into the air while other ones standing around kick their feet out from under them, so that when they come down and land after jumping, it's usually on their back or their heads. Yeah, this is the generation that's coming up. So this dangerous new challenge is making its way through British schools and social media sites like YouTube and TikTok, and are being used to host a dangerous game. It's already claimed the lives of at least 2 children. Parents are desperate to warn others of the dangers. So, I mean, if this is, if this article, if I can remember, I'm going to post it on the Facebook page by itself, because it needs to be pushed around. So parents are aware, and at least the kids read it too, and know that when they're asked to do this kind of thing, not to do it. And, hopefully by then, only kids who have no idea about this, or just, stupid, easily led to do whatever people ask them to do, those people we can pray for. There you have it. Another challenge out there for our children to get into and break. So these videos of the jump trip challenge, or they're calling it the skull breaker, shows how victims of the ridiculous challenge are seen jumping up before their feet are pulled away and leaving them to land on their heads and spines. Yeah. It just goes on to tell you, what happens. Could potentially lead to anything from concussion, fractures in the cranial hemorrhagic, permanent brain damage, or even death. Okay? Parents are warned. The killer jump trip challenge, or the skull crusher. It's just crazy. Yeah, and we already talked about this. I got this before I actually turned on the news. It actually was down 1,031.64, I believe was the final number. Canary Islands engulfed by apocalyptic sandstorm visible from space. There you have it. blocking out the sun, turning the sky, some kind of red. Yeah, blocked out the sun over popular tourist hotspots, caused flight diversions. Yeah, so those tourist hotspots have virtually been shut down. Yeah, look at that. And this was pretty interesting too. It's just weird. I would not want to see this while I'm flying in an airplane and look out front of my window and see this lightning. This is from the Watchers. A rare weather phenomenon, St. Elmo's fire, captured by hurricane hunting plane over the North Atlantic. And this is actually in the beginning where I stopped it. But you can see, I'm going to let it run for a second or two, that you'll just see. Well, that was just crazy, wasn't it? They actually put the spotlight out there, and I'm glad they did that because you can see the cloud level and then the lightning shooting up. Harvey Weinstein convicted on 2 charges in his rape trial. He could face up to 20 years behind bars. And apparently on one account, he got off of it or something. Found not guilty on the 2 most serious charges of predatory sexual assault, and was also acquitted on the first-degree rape charge. But anyways, if you're interested, there's the article. So, old man, he'll die in prison, probably where, he should be. But that's about, just going to go through a couple, things that are happening in this world. Things that people are doing that are just goes to show you how much of a moral decline that this society has taken. I mean, this guy from breaking 911, Florida man, he kills his girlfriend with his car and then just goes to the bar. Right? Let's see what's going on here. Donation time. And this is from the Free Thought Project. I didn't read it. It's just a headline that I wanted to show you. In 2020, more people are enslaved on Earth than ever before in human history. That is hard to imagine, isn't it? You would think that that wouldn't be the case. But apparently it's not. What's this one? Oh, this one is a video. Yeah, this is another thing about just what people are crazy. They're just whacked out. There's a problem with them. And we're in big trouble with our kids coming up. If they haven't been taught right, if they've been taught what to do from the schools, and a lot of them are trying to teach our children things that we don't want them to learn, especially with these sexual education programs. But this one from Maryland, I guess, caught on camera coming out of the store. This guy you see him, I watched it, you see him pull something out of his hand or pocket and just sticks this lady with something. She's calling it a syringe, but here you go, about 15 seconds. I don't know what the heck he's looking at. They had some kind of conversation, but there you go. We'll play it again. Comes out, bumps into her. Look at his hand. Like, whoa, what happened? Now she's trying to feel around on her leg where she just got jabbed. I don't know why the guy's following her around. But anyway, and that's that. Okay, that's it for the news. That's all I got. But I do want to talk about one thing. And this is about Revelation 4. Only because I listened to a video today from two very prominent pastors. One's a pastor, one's a rabbi, I guess, stating something about Revelation 4, chapter or verse 1. And in that, well, let's just read it, okay? Their claim is this chapter and verse talks about the rapture of the church, okay? And I've read it over and over. It has nothing to do with the rapture of the church. And we're going to read it right now. The title of it is The Throne in Heaven. This is where John gets, well, we'll just read it right here. The first couple of verses will tell you what John is doing and what's happening. Revelation 4:1. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was as if it were a trumpet talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. Now I'll just stop there just for a second. Immediately I was in the Spirit. Does that mean that he had died and gone to heaven? Does that mean that he was raptured? I don't believe that. I mean, it could mean that he was raptured, at least temporarily, to watch these things. But he came back to finish the book, okay? Because he went on and finished the book that Jesus told him to write. So in any case, we have many cases, there are visions and dreams from many people, okay? And we have been in the Spirit and in and out on many occasions. It doesn't mean that we've been raptured if we're in the Spirit. But in any case, it doesn't mention anything about the church. This is just about John. And it goes on to talk about the throne in heaven. Okay? And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald. And round about the throne were 24 seats. And upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunders and voices. And there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal. And in the midst of the throne, and round about the throne, were 4 beasts, full of eyes before and behind. And the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf. And the third beast had a face as a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. And the fourth beast had each of them 6 wings about them, and they were full of eyes within. And they rest not day and night, saying, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, which was and is to come. And when those beasts gave glory and honor and thanks to him that sat on the throne, who liveth forever and ever, the 24 elders fall before him and sat on the throne, to whom him that sat on the throne, and worshipped him that liveth forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne, saying, Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. But thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they were created. So anyway, anywhere, please tell me, is it anywhere in this chapter, does it talk about the rapture of the church? Now, these are two well-known rabbis and priests. And if I go and show you this video, I know there's going to be some that are going to be upset, but I really need to, you can't believe all men. Okay, none of them are 100%. We all should know that. It says it in the Bible. There's always going to be something that's going to not be right or off, not on purpose. I'm not saying it's done on purpose, and we have to understand those things, maybe call them out, maybe tell somebody, So I'm trying not to be a finger pointer or whatever you want to call me, backbiter, but when they start, especially with the amount of people that they pastor, I can't let that go undone. So what I'm going to do for now is I guess I need to do it the way Moses did it. I'm going to have to go to those two pastors, if they'll ever answer me anyway, and ask them about it. And maybe they'll come back and, change it or whatever. But I guess that's the way I should do it first. So that's what I'm going to do. And Wednesday, we'll see, because they're very busy. They're in Israel right now, so I will have to confront them first. That's what I'm supposed to do. So with that, everyone, I do not see it in here unless I'm obviously blinded by something, so please let me know. Is there any talk of the rapture of the church or of any rapture to anyone in Revelation 4? They said Revelation 4:1. So with that, God bless everybody. Hopefully, Lord willing, I will see you on Wednesday, hopefully with an update. God bless and peace out.